Hello, everybody, and welcome to China's Red Line, the weekly live stream where we pick apart the Chinese Communist Party's propaganda and hopefully my experience of living in China for around 7 years and, of course, in Taiwan for 2 years will be useful for you guys. So let's get started. And the first thing I wanted to say is I wanted to say Happy Lunar New Year. 新年快乐. And it is the Lunar New Year, no matter how many times the Chinese government wants you to call it Chinese New Year. So many other countries celebrate this festival. And actually, even in China, they don't call it Chinese New Year. They just call it New Year or Spring Festival, right? So, where this Chinese New Year thing comes from, I have absolutely no idea. So, as you can see behind me here, this thing here, this device is called the Signet, and there is a message transmitting on there. So if any geniuses are out there watching today's stream, then maybe you can have a go at cracking the code. It'll be transmitting the same code for the entire stream, hopefully, unless the battery runs out. But yeah. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. I can see a few of you are in the chat already. It's the year of the horse. So yeah, I don't even know what that means. To be honest with you, it's not, I don't really celebrate this festival, although I will be doing some sort of video about it over on my Team Taiwan channel in a couple of days. I'm going to go to London and shoot a video. I'm actually going to go to the Lunar New Year celebrations in London with Taiwan's flag and yeah, see what kind of reactions I get. So that should be fun. All right, let me just find what we're covering today. Uh, all right, there it is. Just going to put it up on the screen here. And I think we are good to go. So, what's the first thing? Right. Yeah, it's this. Yay. So, just some dumb propaganda that I saw on X. And this is just really, really stupid. It's one of those like propaganda videos where it's like, ooh, China has shiny buildings with nice LED lights. Therefore, it must be a really successful country. And, it's socialism. Socialism works, and damn that capitalism. Like what this guy's posted. Kevin Castley. I've never heard of the guy. No idea who he is, but yeah, he seems to be posting a lot of propaganda on behalf of the CCP. Whether he's doing it intentionally or whether he's just a dumbass and he's completely fell for it is another thing. I don't know. But here's what he says: right wingers, socialists can't build anything on their own. They just want handouts and gifts from the government. Chongqing, China. Okay, let's look at his video then. So it's a pan around of the Chongqing skyline. You see a lot of this in China's propaganda. And first of all, look at it. Jesus Christ, look at this air quality. Is this really a great video for your propaganda? The air quality is astronomical, astronomically awful levels. It looks like some kind of dystopian city similar to like Blade Runner. This is not the sort of place where I would want to live or where I would want to travel to. I mean, look at it. Oh yeah, so I really, really would love to go to this dystopian hellhole that looks like something out of a dystopian, horrible sci-fi movie for my next holiday. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So let's just pick apart what he says here. He says socialists can't build anything on their own. This is the quote from the right wingers that he's talking about, and they just want handouts from the government. He's being sarcastic. And then he's saying, look at these buildings. This proves that China's socialism works. And the people criticizing it can get lost. Well, sorry to break it to you, Kevin Castley, but China isn't socialist. Sure, I mean, their government, it controls like key sectors So it could give some sort of illusion of socialism. But in fact, China's economy actually relies on private ownership and market forces. For example, the buildings that he's showing here, many new buildings like the ones that you see are constructed by private developers who are seeking profit, not directly by the state. This mix of state planning and capitalist enterprise creates significant wealth inequality, showing that China functions more like a state guided capitalist system than a traditional socialist one. In fact, I'm pretty sure China dropped the idea of socialism in 1976 when Mao Zedong died because it wasn't working for the country. Mao destroyed China with his idea of socialism, and millions of people died, and millions more suffered under Mao Zedong's idea of socialism. So I think the guy who posted this propaganda, Kevin Castley, whatever the hell his name is, he should probably take a quick look at why so many people are running away from China and they're leaving China to go to countries like the UK, the US, Canada, Australia. So why isn't it the opposite? Why aren't many people fleeing their home country in the UK, for example, and head into China? He really needs to think about this. So, China isn't socialist, it's a dictatorship using capitalist methods to make the rich even richer and the poor get absolutely trampled on. They're pretending to be socialist, and this idiot, Kevin Castley, who posted this, has fallen for it hook, line, and sinker. Okay, let's move on because we've got a lot to talk about in today's stream. We have She's Moments coming up. So, She's Moments. Every Xi Jinping has an X account. It's called She's Moments. I don't think it's his personal account or anything, but a lot of his quotes and propaganda is posted onto this account. It has over 165,000 followers. I can't believe that a Xi Jinping X account has this many followers. It kind of makes me laugh. So every week we look at one of his quotes that he's posted on this X account and we pick it apart. So this week, what's up, Beijing? So here is the quote, and it's a very short one this time. No progress means regress. Okay, let's have a look. So progress. Is this Xi Jinping's idea of progress? So this is the video's thumbnail, by the way, the live stream's thumbnail. And as you can see, a massive sinkhole has just appeared in the middle of the most developed city in China. That city is Shanghai. This happened on the 2nd of February. A leak occurred on the Shanghai Qixin Road Jiamin line, which is a new line for their subway system, which is still under construction. And as you can see, there was a massive water leak, which has resulted in this huge sinkhole. Now, this is a fine example of what we call tofu dreg construction. Okay, tofu dregs are poorly built buildings, mainly built with really lousy building materials. A lot of the time, you'll see tofu dregs all over the internet because China they try to hide it, but when buildings are falling down, when subways stations are collapsing in on themselves like this, when massive bridges just collapse, you can't hide this stuff. These tofu dregs are all over China, and it's because they rush building these projects because the government probably gives them a deadline which is just unattainable, and they rush it to get it built, and when they're rushing to get things built, they cut corners naturally, and as we see, things like this happen. Massive sinkholes in the middle of the road in Shanghai. This is really dangerous. And this is happening in China's best city. Can you imagine what's happening all over the country in the lower tier cities? I would hate to be living in China right now because it appears to be getting worse. There was always talk of tofu dregs when I lived there. Um, all of those years ago. I mean, I left China in 2020, but I actually once lived in a tofu dreg building that was built in the 1990s, and it was poorly built. It was crumbling to pieces. I've shown it before on streams, and I've made videos about it. I think there's a short video on my Team Taiwan UK channel. But yeah, I lived in a tofu dreg. The lift in that building was just coming to pieces. It was always breaking down with people in it sometimes. The stairwell leading up was just falling apart. The whole place was awful, and it was built in the 1990s. So it's not like it's some ancient building. It was like a relatively new building in terms of buildings. If you think about London, for example, has buildings that are centuries years old, and they're not even like crumbling to pieces at all. They hold up really, really well. But in China, it seems that just rushing to get the job done and lousy construction material results in horrible tofu dregs, just like this. Look at it. That is horrible. Just crumbling, crumbling. Yeah, you'd better run, guys, at the top there. I mean, God, will it ever end? Yeah, that is messed up, isn't it, guys? Wow. It's just another angle, another view. You can see how big it is. And there it is. Like, see the water like leaking, filling up. Well, at least they're gonna have a new swimming pool in Shanghai, I guess. Everybody, get your armbands on, get your rubber dinghies, and go for a nice little dip in the new Shanghai swimming complex. Bigger, China can at least brag that now they have the world's largest swimming pool, right? And here is just an example of a tofu drag that I was talking about. This is a recent video. Look, it's all hollow in there. Look, it's just falling to pieces. I mean, that's scary, isn't it? Just think, all of that was completely hollow. What about the rest of the building? Tell you what, I would not want to be living there. So yeah, progress. I don't think so.
That is why you fail.
I get it. If you want to like progress, you need to sacrifice, but I think that's a pretty big sacrifice. Okay, let's move on. So I'm going to give you an example of China's green technology because they're always bragging about how developed they are with their green, sustainable technology, like wind turbines and that kind of thing. And then, you see the reality. If you live there, you'll see that like more coal is burned in China than any other country. There's smog everywhere. It looks like some of the cities look like London did, during the Great Fog back when the UK used to burn a lot of coal as well. It's pretty grim, right? So here's an amazing example of China's green technology. Yep. Here's their green technology in full force. Yeah. Okay, for you guys that don't know, this is jackfruit, and they're painting it green to make it look more appealing because they want to prioritize appearance over safety. They want to take this to a market, and they want people to look at it and think, "Wow, look at how green it is. It's amazing." The fruit should never be this green, by the way. But yeah, they want to just sell it on the market, and they want people to see it and just be like, "Whoa, I've got to buy this. Look at how amazing this jackfruit looks." But yeah, it's just again, it's a lack of food safety standards in China. The toxic chemicals from this paint could lead to food poisoning, um, just because they want somebody to buy it. I guess this is probably a good example of how desperate things are in China, where they have to paint the fruit green to sell it. China's green technology. Don't you just love the clown music? Okay, guys, so now I'm just going to show you a series of clips because it seems like over the last week or so, I've been seeing a lot more crazy clips coming out of China. Not that we don't always get this, but it seems more so than usual. So I've titled this Things in China Have Gone Crazy. We've had a lot of crazy things happening. And it's interesting to me because you have these CCP shills that go around, these propagandists, and they always talk about how wonderful and harmonious society is in China. But these clips show the exact opposite of what these propagandists are saying. And also, just that China is just another normal country. Unfortunately, has an authoritarian dictator in charge, but it is just another normal country where crazy things happen. There are problems. The only problem is we have this insecure government that won't allow people to criticize the problems and criticize the government. And so they try to hide it, but then these videos surface every now and again. And yeah, we've got some crazy stuff going on in China. So I just wanted to show you a little compilation of that. Oh wow, this one's crazy by the way. Luckily nobody got hurt. I mean, if this restaurant was full of people, holy crap. Happy New Year, I guess. That is insane. Yeah, you little idiot. You just set off. I mean, why would you let a little kid have a lighter anyway, right? Just shows you how irresponsible these parents are. It's insane. Right. Random woman kicking shit out of an escalator. Yeah, look at him. He's first of all, he's smoking in the elevator in the lift, and then he kicks it, and he's wondering why it stopped. Okay, having a fight in a ball pit of all the places, right? In front of children. There was even a little kid in there, and they're just having a Karen fight. In all the places, can't you control that? This guy has just gone nuts. I don't know what happened to this guy, but yeah, he has gone absolutely insane. What is he doing? He looks like a gangster in China, you know? They're always heavily tattooed like this guy, Liu Meng. Yeah. Well, I don't know what's happened to him, but he's in his underwear. I mean, Jesus Christ. Whatever happened to him, it must have been pretty bad. But yeah, you know, just crazy stuff like this. You see this all the time in China. Oh, right, you have to hear the sound for this one. Is it a woman? Nope. Yeah, another robot is freaking out. It looks like this one's for Spring Festival as well for New Year. And the last clip. Okay, for those of you who are wondering what's going on with this guy, it looks like there's some sort of wedding going on, and in the wedding in China, they deck out the car and they drive through the area where they're going to get married. And it looks like this guy, he's jumped in front of the car, and now he's claiming money from the people because he knows that they've got money. So look, they're even offering to give him money. He's like, that's not enough. Oh my god. Oh my god. So, you know, let me just get it back onto there quickly, onto that guy. Oops. Where did he go? There he is. Yeah. So, you know, when people tell you that like China is this harmonious society and that nothing ever goes wrong and that it's just all good, it's not, okay? It's just a normal place. I think that anybody with half a brain would realize that. But these propagandists, man, because they're not allowed to criticize China at all, they're not allowed to do it. So they just walk around pretending like everything is amazing. And that is a massive injustice to all of the people living in China that have to put up with shit like we've seen in these videos daily. And these shills just walk around pretending like nothing happens, living in their sick little bubble. Anyway, don't believe the propaganda that you hear from these shills. Go and look for yourself. You know, if you live in China, you will also see shit like this. Well, we got his money. Alrighty. So the last thing that I want to look at, um, we have a little meeting here. We have a guy called Ed Miliband, who is the Secretary of State for Energy Security and Net Zero in the Labour government. Net Zero. Whoa. His role means that he's responsible for UK energy policy, climate change strategy, and the transition to zero net emissions. So basically, he's the jab end that I need to blame for my ridiculously high energy bills, and he doesn't really seem to have a solution for it. I hate this guy, Ed Miliband. He is just a smarmy little twat. Anyway, Millie Twat, as I'm going to call him now, Ed Millitwat, was humiliated during this energy net zero committee when he continuously flat out refused to answer questions about China from another twat, a Tory MP, Bradley Thomas. I'm not really into the Tories either. But it's interesting because Miliband danced around so many questions related to China's influence over the UK's energy sector, and specifically a deal signed with China that is not available for public scrutiny. So this guy rightly pressed Miliband about this, and Miliband just danced around questions, giggling and smirking with his typical shit-eating smile. And it just shows the large disconnect between leadership and accountability that unfortunately we have a lot of right now here in the UK. Um, anyway, let's listen to it. Let me turn the sound up here. You'll hear him.
Thomas.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Secretary of State, yesterday the Shadow Secretary of State asked if you will publish the text of a deal that you signed with China in March of last year, and you dodged the question. You called it a wacky conspiracy theory. In your view, why is asking to publish the text of a deal that you signed on behalf of the UK government a wacky conspiracy theory?
We're simply following the practice of the previous government in relation to I think a 2015 memorandum of understanding. But ask me anything about our relationship with China, Mr. Thomas, and I'll answer.
Okay, so ministers in your department have published similar deals relating to Chile and Japan, for instance. Why do different rules apply to China?
That's the practice that was employed under the previous government. But ask me any questions about our relationship with China and I'll answer them.
His reply is constantly, that's the practice of the previous government, so we're going to do it as well, even though we were completely against everything that the previous government stood for. But yeah, we're going to just, when it comes to China, we're just going to do exactly the same thing.
You know, the sort of topics that Parliament deserves to see the detail on include whether this deal involved commitments not to complain to China about slave labour being used in solar production, supply chains, commitments to maintain resilience on maintain reliance on Chinese supply chains.
Do ask me, Mr. Thomas, any questions you like about our relationship to China.
And this is what I'm doing. So why not publish the text of the deal?
Why don't you, as I say, we're following the practice of the previous government.
But Secretary of State, you've released the text of deals with other countries. Why is China being treated differently?
Okay, that's important because he has released the details of deals done with other countries, but they're purposefully not showing, they're purposefully hiding the deal with China. Why are they doing that?
Explaining to you that we're following the practice of previous governments. But
I'm asking about this government. This government
do ask me, Mr. Thomas, any questions you like.
This government has published the text of deals with other countries. Why not release the text of the deal for China?
As I say, we're following the previous practice.
I'm talking about this government, Secretary of State. You've released it for other countries.
We're following the previous practice, as I said.
Text.
But do ask me any questions about our relationship with China.
So why not release the text?
Well, I think I've explained to you the practices that we're following, and with certain countries, certain countries we have certain approaches, and with others we have other approaches.
Okay, so if there's a different approach to China, why is China different?
As I say, just ask me any questions you like on this topic. And that's what I'm doing.
This is the question I would like to ask. So why is China being treated differently?
I've answered the question, Mr. Thomas.
He's answered that quite a few times.
I don't believe he has.
He hasn't answered anything. He's just dancing around the question. And look at him giggling there. How pathetic is this guy? On the sign on the desk, it says "Right Honourable Ed Miliband." There's nothing honourable about this guy. Look at him smirking away.
He's made reference to the previous government.
Whether you like the answer is another matter, but
this government has a very inconsistent approach, Chairman. They've released the text of deals with other countries, but not with China. There is a two-tier approach, quite evidently.
Absolutely.
So if the government is going to apply a uniform approach, why does the Secretary of State not release the text of this deal?
We proceed on the basis of on a certain basis with some countries and a different and different basis with different countries, as has been the practice of previous governments. But honestly, ask me any questions about our relationship with China, and I'll answer them for you.
Yeah, I've got a question. Oh God, why do you love the CCP so much that you're hiding an energy deal that you did with them? You're hiding the records of that for scrutiny by other people, but yet you're publishing the details of other deals that you've done with other countries. Why would you be beholden to China like that, you smarmy little twat?
And that's what I've been doing, but you haven't answered them, Secretary of State.
Well, you obviously don't have any questions, actually, about the substance. What is your question on the substance, Mr. Thomas?
Substantively.
The substance is we want to see the substance, you little twat.
I would like to see the government release the text of this deal, as Parliament deserves to see. Now, the Secretary of State can chuckle and laugh and be evasive around the topic, but it's a serious issue.
Look at his face, man. Look at him. Oh my god. This is like a little child in nursery school that didn't, that didn't get to play with his favorite toy that day. You know what I mean? God.
Do you have any more questions?
I don't have any further questions.
Okay, thank you.
No, just that one question that Miliband didn't answer. Why are they so afraid of China? They're giving them this mega embassy. They're constantly kowtowing to them. Starmer was recently in Beijing talking with Xi Jinping, trying to make a deal. He came home with absolutely nothing. China doesn't give us shit. So why do we keep making allowances for them? It's time to stop pretending like China is this terrible, terrible threat. It's time to stop making out that China is also like our friend, and we should be covering up for them. We don't get anything from them in return for this. So why are we constantly kissing their ass? You know? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And there's my favorite photo of Ed Miliband. This is apparently the photo that lost him the election because he was poised to be prime minister of the UK at one point, believe it or not. But luckily he never got to be prime minister. Thankfully, some other smarmy twat. I think it was David Cameron got in instead of him, and Cameron was a little bit less offensive than this guy. So thankfully he didn't get in. But knowing that this guy is in charge of the UK's energy security, it's very worrying indeed. And especially if he's selling it out to China, which is what he seems to be doing, which is why they're hiding these documents. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, that is all we have time for today. Thank you so much for watching today's stream. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share it out if you think it was worth sharing out. And yeah, have an amazing new year. Well, an amazing Lunar New Year. We've already had the real New Year, right? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next week. Bye for now.